Hi everyone, my name is Katie Kettner. I am a pelvic health physiotherapist in the northeast of England, and I am here today to talk about your pelvic floor. So I'm creating some really basic videos with the theme of pelvic health made simple, in the hope that I can give you some simple education on your pelvic floor that you can benefit from. If you haven't already checked out the video on the what, the where and the why of the pelvic floor, please check that out, just to give you some general knowledge on what the pelvic floor is, where it is, and why it's important to take care of it. Today's video is going to be how to do a pelvic floor exercise. I'm going to hopefully talk you through a really simple exercise that will help strengthen up your pelvic floor. So these exercises are really beneficial for anyone who is suffering with symptoms due to a weak pelvic floor. Perhaps haven't got as much control over your bladder or bowel, as much control as you'd like. Perhaps you're experiencing pressure down below, heaviness due to a prolapse. Perhaps you're just running to the toilet all the time. Or perhaps you're wanting to prevent these problems. Maybe you've just had a baby, all your new mums out there. Maybe you've just had some gynae surgery. Maybe you're going through the menopause. And lots of reasons out there why you should be ensuring you keep on top of your pelvic floor. But also for everyone, is exercises are really important if you're not symptomatic, because it's important we keep that pelvic floor strong to prevent any problems, and also just to help the function of the pelvic floor, which is mentioned in the previous video if you want more information. So, for a pelvic floor squeeze, I'm going to talk you through this really simple exercise. Get comfortable, lying down or sitting, just get yourself in a position. If you're comfortable sitting, sit, but ideally, if you haven't done this before, lying down would be better. I often recommend that just to take out the equation of gravity for one thing, and also just to help you really focus on getting the feel of that pelvic floor exercise for the first time until you become more familiar and used to it. So in my previous video, I talked about the pelvic floor being a group of muscles, ball-shaped group of muscles at the bottom of your pelvis. I also mentioned how the female pelvic floor has 3 holes. The back hole being your anus, which is your back passage. So the pelvic floor exercise, you want to engage the entire ball of muscles, okay? So we're going to start actually with the back of the pelvic floor, which is a surprise for a lot of people. So what we're going to do is you're going to squeeze and pull in the muscles around your back passage entrance, all right? Almost like you're holding a pump, okay? That's the kind of, almost like you're holding in wind, that's the kind of movement you're aiming for. So it's a squeeze and drawing of the muscles around your back passage. As you're holding them there, you're going to draw and squeeze in the muscles around your vagina as you're holding that, and then draw up and squeeze in the muscles around your urethra like you're holding in a weight, and then relax, okay? So that squeeze and draw up of your back passage. I almost say to patients, okay, picture you in a room you're in a room with a group of friends, and you really need a pump, okay? And you don't want to pass wind in front of everyone. Do you know that feeling you do where you draw in your back passage, you draw up and in your back passage to keep that wind in? That's a pelvic floor exercise, okay? That's a pelvic floor squeeze. A lot of my patients are like, really? Yes. So, but what we also want to do is make sure you get engagement of those front part of the ball of muscles as well. So you draw, you squeeze and draw in your back passage, zip up to the front of your vagina, and then relax, okay? Squeeze and draw in, and then zip up to the front, because then you're drawing in the muscles around your vagina and urethra, and then relax. So you've got 2 types of exercise. You've got your slow twitch and your fast twitch exercises. So these work with 2 different muscle fiber types of the pelvic floor, which both have significant roles within the pelvic floor for 2 different functions. So your slow ones, so those are, you're gonna squeeze and draw in your pelvic floor. You're gonna hold it there, okay? And then relax. So that holding of the pelvic floor contraction, you're gonna aim for about 5 seconds, okay, to start with. The goal is that you work up to a 10-second hold, but don't just start with 5, okay? If you're struggling with 5, What I say is just squeeze for as long as you can until you feel it drop off. The muscles drop off, fatigue. That might be 2 seconds, 3 seconds. That's okay, just start there and work your way up gradually. So I generally say start with 5 and work up to 10 seconds hold. Do the hold 5 times. So repeat it 5 times, and again, your aim is to work up to 10 repetitions of that hold. What you can do, and then your fast contractions. So again, start with 5 and eventually work up to 10 holds. So your fast contractions are, so you squeeze and draw on in. So you squeeze, draw on your back passage, zip up to the front, and then relax. So it's more of a quicker contraction. So you're going all the way up in your contraction, you're coming all the way down. Okay? Start with 5. Again, build up to 10. And those are your 2 different types of exercises. You can repeat those 3, if you're symptomatic, really important to start 3 times a day, just to get that pelvic floor up and going, to see the benefits and get it functioning correctly. You can download an NHS Squeezy app on your phone. So you go into your app store, you can download, type in NHS Squeezy app, download it. It's fab. You type in your program, and then it reminds you 3 times a day to squeeze, because we all forget. We're all busy, crazy people. 2 things to look out for. You want to make sure when you're doing the contractions, especially fast ones, that you're going all the way up, but that you are coming all the way down. Okay, so you're relaxing the pelvic floor off as well is really important. Co-contraction is the next thing to look out for. So what a lot of people do when they first do the pelvic floor squeezes is they're like, yeah, okay, squeeze and relax. They squeeze everything. The bum, the legs, the tummy. Nothing needs to move apart from this small group of muscles at the base of your pelvis, okay? So it is actually a really small movement. It's just a really gentle squeeze and draw up, just purely isolating those muscles, within the bottom of your pelvis. So look out for any legs coming in, any bum muscles, any tummy muscles. If they are, don't worry. Probably focus on doing them in lying, where you can really focus on switching off these muscles. And just focus on relaxing while you're doing them, making everything soft, and then just drawing in and isolating just those muscles. If you're wondering whether you're doing them right, which is our biggest kind of patient complaint, is that they're not sure if they're doing them correctly. Unfortunately, quite often, a lot of women aren't, because it's really difficult to teach. So what I would say is you can get a mirror, pop it just in between your legs so you can see your vulva, and you could do that, and you should see a bit of a draw and lift of your perineum. You could use a finger. So some patients pop a little finger or thumb into the wall of your vagina, and you should feel a squeeze around your finger. Don't worry if you're not feeling anything. Keep going, keep persevering. You will get stronger as you tone those muscles up. Again, ideally a pelvic floor physio would talk you through all this and make it very tailored for you. But this video is for people who can't get to a physio at the minute. In terms of the positions, starting lying or sitting, you do want to progress eventually, if you can, to sitting, to standing, when you're doing the dishes, perhaps when you're walking, because ideally you do want your pelvic floor to work for you during those times. So you want to make it fun, you want to make your pelvic floor quite functional and strong during those functional times. Another thing to mention is often we can do activities that put pressure down on our pelvic, exert pressure down onto the pelvic floor. And these weaken the pelvic floor. So these are things like laughing, coughing, sneezing, jumping, any heavy lifting, anything that exerts pressure down will weaken it. And that's quite often where people experience leakages as well, is during those activities, because you're actually ramming this pressure down on the pelvic floor. And if there's no strength there, it causes you to leak. So what you want to do is, before you do any of those activities, laugh, sneeze, cough, heavy lift, jump, squeeze and lift your pelvic floor before you do the activity. And that should protect your pelvic floor from the abdominal pressure from above. So I hope this video was beneficial. I hope you can take on this information, practice your pelvic floor exercises, and hopefully it'll benefit you in some way. I cannot express enough you need to go and see a women's health or a pelvic health physiotherapist if you are symptomatic. These are really important because we do a thorough assessment. We screen to make sure pelvic floor strengthening exercises are appropriate. Sometimes they're not. If you experience any pain or a lot of discomfort, sometimes with overactive bladder, pelvic floor strengthening isn't appropriate for you at this point. So if you are unsure, please get in touch. I know I'm doing this video during the COVID lockdown in the hope that I can give some education to people who can't quite access the physio at the minute. So obviously this is just some general knowledge, but when you can, if you can, please go see a pelvic health physio, because we love to help you. We would love to get your body functional again, getting you back to a good quality of life and enjoying life. Yeah, so I hope that was beneficial. Any problems, any questions about the video, please get in touch. Other than that, happy squeezing. Thanks, bye.